back in 1997 when Crispin Porter Boguski, now one of the, I guess, most cutting edge or creative shops in the country and quite big. It was just small and pretty scrappy, and we won the Florida anti-tobacco campaign for the state of Florida. And instead of doing the kind of I guess public service messages that have been your brain on drugs type messages or don't smoke, we really turned the problem on its head. And so we looked at all sorts of ways that we could talk to teens about not smoking. That was the challenge. It was only one audience, it was teenagers, and how did you get them to not smoke? So what we ended up doing was tapping into what we thought was their rebellion against people trying to take advantage of them. And in this case, it was the tobacco industry. And so we talked to them, and they were not so much interested in rebellion, but they were interested in the truth. And initially, we were thinking we should make a brand. So not just send them a public service message, because kids don't necessarily hear those, but kids love brands. They love Nike, they love Coke, they loved Mountain Dew back then. That was something that was pretty big challenge, because if you imagine Philip Morris and Lorillard and all of the huge tobacco companies, how much money they had, even though they couldn't advertise on TV anymore, they sure could find other ways to promote their product. And we were a scrappy little, brand in Florida taking on such a big, powerful opponent. That was a pretty big challenge on itself. So we did scrappy little things, and one of the things that we did for the Truth campaign was about a zillion prank phone call spots, and it was just two teenagers in their house making calls to the tobacco industry. As a planner in an ad agency working on something like that, I was 37 at the time, and I was talking to 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. And I think that can be a challenge, that you have to step out of your own shoes, and you have to step away from your own experience as a teenager and really learn to listen. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's probably a challenge for a lot of people in life, but also in this business, is to really sit down and ask a question and then just open yourself up to listening more. And I believe the biggest challenge is that when you're stuck, you start to get a little bit nervous, and then you just think you have to work harder, and you kind of put the blinders on, and really that's the moment you have to go for a walk in nature and go out and have a beer or coffee with a friend and ask somebody completely outside of advertising or business how they would solve that problem.